I will never forget one of the neighbor who came out and um, who literally had to call 911 to get me out of there. So even though I told her that you do not need to do this, so that emotion from the next door neighbor lady coming out and saying that, Zara, no, get out. So it felt like that was ghost of myself somewhere deep and hidden, that I was holding on to my culture, right? I was holding on to my culture, and she kind of said that, Zara, you're in Canada. I am going to do what I need to do. And when I look back now and I sit and I think, and I said, thank you, the lady.
Today is International Women's Day. More than a century ago, the first gathering for International Women's Day happened in 1911 with the support of over 1 million people. Today, it's a global day that celebrates the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. This day also marks a call to action for accelerating our path, our journey to a more gender equal world. Usually, we end up celebrating women who are already in the public eye, who seem to have achieved what we traditionally define as success. But we forget those who may not be known, but they've paved paths that many of us would be terrified to navigate. It's those women who we need to bring to limelight on a day like today. Let's celebrate the women forced into arranged marriages at a young age and their perseverance in surviving that journey, making the best of it they could. Let's celebrate the women who were never raised to be breadwinners, but fate left them as single moms and they took up roles in society that they were never previously allowed or trained for. Let's celebrate the women who suffered domestic abuse, found the courage to speak up, to walk out, and to start life anew in a world they knew nothing about. Let's celebrate the women who pursued their ambition despite the odds, realized their passion, and owned their identity like a boss. Let's celebrate the women who know that they will be branded a feminist without a cause and made to feel lesser than for having opinions that question the status quo of patriarchy. And yet, they do not stop spitting the much needed fire to burn down all that's regressive and all that our daughters do not deserve to inherit. Let's find these women in our normal, mundane lives and acknowledge them. Today on TCCN, we're speaking to a warrior woman like that, who survived teenage arranged marriage, domestic abuse, had to go back to school in her 20s, build a career to be financially independent for her children, and owns her journey and path like a boss. Please welcome Zuhra Malik. And before I bring Zara onto the screen, actually, I just wanted to let you know, I don't know if you've noticed, we are not telecasting this episode at 6 p.m. It is 1 p.m. And that is a new change that we're bringing onto the TC Sun platform because my evenings are ending up to be a lot busier than I had previously imagined. We're going to move our programming to Monday to Thursday at 1 p.m. Thank you. Hi, Zahra.
Hi, Roop. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I've been calling you Zara for the longest time, but today I asked Zuhra off record how her name is pronounced traditionally, and it is Zuhra.
Yes, it is Zahra with a H sound. So H sound has to come out.
And what does Zuhra mean?
Zora is a star. We have the names of our stars that we count in Urdu, and then there is in Hindi. So Zora is one of the stars.
And you are a star.
Thank
So
you.
tell us where you are right now. I know you are in a ghost town somewhere in Alberta, hidden away where no one knows where you are, where people go for witness protection programs.
Well, I took on a leadership with Bank of Montreal. So I am in Alberta still. I am still close to Calgary, and I'm here working on
By yourself, by
by
yourself.
myself in a small room which is like an hotel room in a ghost town.
In a ghost town, and you're going to be there for a long period of time, and you haven't been back to Calgary for a while now, haven't you?
Yes, I haven't been there since the Christmas.
Oh wow, it's been
Yeah,
3 months.
it's 3 months
And
already.
just so our audience knows, Zohra, it's going to be so hard for me to say that name, but I'm gonna say it. So just so our audience knows, Zohra has 3 children. One of your children is an adult already, and your daughter is also turning 18 soon, I think.
Correct.
You have a younger son as well. So
Yes.
the older two are taking care of the house and the younger sibling as well, while Zohra is out there accomplishing everything that she's accomplishing. You are a role model for me, always an inspiration. I'm so, so, so glad that I can call you my friend, and always, always look up to you. I mean, there are not enough words that I have to describe the respect, the motivation, the inspiration that you give me. So thank you so much for being the person that you are. So let's go back to your story. So you said now you're in a leadership role in BMO, but there was a time when you were a teenager and married and not
Yes.
in any profession, and you didn't have a degree, you didn't have education to go out and get a job for yourself. So how did this journey begin?
Well, let me start with one of the most popular poet who wrote a quotation saying that grief can be the garden of compassion, right? So if we keep our hearts open to what comes in life and accept it with a big open heart, the magic happens, right? So you're right that I did not had a degree back in 2007. I had 3 children who were 5 and a 4 and a year and a half kind of thing, and I myself was 24 years old when I had my third child. um, Knowingly, not knowingly, I was in this devastating, shattering moment of life where I didn't know what to do. Right, so it's been a journey, and I am thankful for it because I learned from that journey. I started speaking English in 2007. I started going to school in 2007. I started learning about how to get an upgrading diploma from and Bawali College, went through SAIT, went through University of Lethbridge to get degree. It When we talk about it, it's just 1 or 2 sentences. It took me a decade to come to this, right? More than a decade. So now, as you said, my oldest child is 19, who is an adult. You have met them before, and I know you exactly remember them. So it's been a pleasure experiencing that life, and I'm thinking that that life has given me some maturity level to step on towards success, right? So um, that's pretty much what my journey has been.
And your children have been with you on this journey.
They have they have been with me. They are my strength. They are my family, and I have been look up to them. I have learned English from them, so which is really good. Every time I have a wrong pronunciation, they'll call me up and say, "Mama, no, you need to pronounce the V as in V, not in W." So it's been those little good moments that has kept me going to this moment.
When you moved out, when you were 24, you said into 2007. I don't want to date you, but what were you feeling in that moment? Was it fear? Were you looking forward to a life where you could have your own independence and you could make your own decisions? What were you going through in that moment?
Roop, it's very difficult to explain those moments in words because your mind shuts when you are in that moment. Your thinking process stops. Um, of course, there's a lots of fear. What am I going to get into? Right? Lots of fear for sure. But then there is always that hope in your deep heart that there is a light, right? So I was scared. I was devastated. I had no advice of what to do next. But then something called responsibility. When you look at those children, when you look at them, that you need to provide the food for them, you need to bring the food to the table. Regardless, you know something or you don't know something, go get out there and get it. Is I That's what I have been. I have been go getter. I haven't looked to people around me what they will think of me. I have played the fool, right? So knowingly or unknowingly, I have played the fool and I made fool of myself because I had to do it. I didn't know what was right. I didn't know what was, wrong. So I chose what I needed to do and I did it.
What made you make that decision of moving out? Why did you have to take that drastic decision where you had to go out into a world that you knew nothing about, do things that you've never done before, or perhaps you never even imagined that you'd be doing that ever in your life by yourself, but you made that decision? Why?
It 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 is really emotional, very sensitive. Why I made that decision, or why that decision was made for me by the life, right? So I never controlled my life. The life has the control, right? So those moments are very shattering, very sensitive, and I will never forget one of the neighbor who came out and um, who literally had to call 911 to get me out of there. So even though I told her that you do not need to do this, so that emotion from the next door neighbor lady coming out and saying that, Zara, no, get out. So it felt like that was ghost of myself somewhere deep in hidden, that I was holding on to my culture, right? I was holding on to my culture, and she kind of said that, Zara, you're in Canada. I am going to do what I need to do. And when I look back now and I sit and I think and I said, thank you, the lady, right? So she pulled me out, and when I am out, it was that moment where I said, oh, this is called responsibility. This is called to be independent. This is called that you do not need to be in a situation where you're abide by a culture, where you're abide by, rules and regulations, or you're abide by families, but yet you could be abide by them, but yet you make the right decision. You can make them understand that this is not what you want. This is what you need, is to get out and be independent,
And be in control, like you said.
being in control.
Take control of your
Absolutely.
life. Take the power back. Because that
Absolutely.
power, that agency should always be with you to be able to make decisions for your life. No one else should be
Absolutely.
deciding anything for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's been a great journey. It's been a great journey of life. That, I am very grateful today. I am very thankful today. Um, Single-handed raising up three children, very small things. I've been asked that, what did you have saved on a financial term, if I may speak about it. Then I tell them that I have three gems. I don't need to save, right? Why
And
should
they're
I save?
beautiful, and they're so beautiful, such well-raised children. And the
Thank
love
you.
they have for you, the respect they have for you. I, I mean, you've done an incredible job. I always, whenever I have these conversations, it's very difficult
Yeah.
for me to say anything because I always go speechless. Because for me, I don't think someone who is in a position of a CEO or has a big, high political position, I don't necessarily think that they are successful in life.
Mhm.
Success really comes down to what you said, the three gems that you have. Success comes to how you've raised those children. Success comes to dealing with the challenges that you face in your life and dealing with them in a very positive manner, just the way you did, and overcoming all the difficulties and challenges that came. And you said, you know what, I'm going to get out, I'm going to do this, I'm going to take care of my children, I'm going to go get get education and I'm going to make this work. So that is success. It doesn't matter if at the end of your life, whenever it is going to be in 100 years from now, it doesn't matter if you have $1 million to your name or not. You've already, in my eyes, from where I see it, you are a massive success. You are you are a woman of substance women like yourself are the women who need to be celebrated on this International Women's Day today. And
Thank
I
you.
thank you for making the time to talk to me about this story. So just briefly about yourself. So you're originally from Pakistan, or the north region of Pakistan?
Yes, I am from northern area of Pakistan. It's a beautiful place named Gilgit Hunza, and I have been raised there for 8 to 10 years. So then my life in Canada started. So
When did
yes,
when did you move here? How old were you when you moved to Canada?
I was 15.
Oh, that's when you got married, around the time. Oh,
Yes,
wow.
yes.
And it was an arranged marriage.
It is arranged marriage. Yes, it was an
And that
arranged.
is the tradition. That is the culture, right? So you don't.
That's okay too, right? So that's okay too. When you're a teen, you're this little woman of, filled with excitement, and you could connect. When it's marriage, that, oh, it's marriage, it's teen life. Oh, what does it look like, right? You're excited. You're going with the flow with what parents are saying. You're respecting. You're not knowing that it is a big sacrifice in life.
Oh yeah, I don't think as I think back to me as a 15-year-old, there's no way I would have known what marriage is. I mean, it was difficult enough when I got married in my 20s. It was difficult enough to accept that there is someone else that I have to adjust and compromise with and change my ways, and just a lot of changes that you have to bring within yourself. So it is difficult enough in 20s. That when you're 15 years old, you're still discovering yourself, you're still figuring it out. I can totally imagine. So you talked a little bit about culture. Now that, because it is culturally acceptable to get a girl at 15 married from where your family is from, would you recommend that to your daughter or someone that age? Like, would you recommend that to the next generation in your culture? Is that part of your culture that you would retain?
No, definitely not. One reason is I say no because if the generation or the culture comes to me saying that we are doing this, I will stand. I would take the stand. But then if I look at how the teenager is feeling, what is she want? I would respect that too, right? So let them grow, let them be blossom, let them experience what they need to experience, rather preparing them saying that, okay, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. I will let them experience it. And that's how they're going to make mistakes. That's how they're going to learn it. So if I sit with my daughter today and I tell her that, I had two of you at your age, she will put her fingers into ears, and she knows that this is not for me. I cannot imagine this is not for me. So with the teens life, I don't see that culture anymore, which is good in a sense, that teenagers are growing. Teenagers are looking into themselves, saying that, okay, we are more mature than making those decisions that used to be, kind of thing.
And
So
getting an education. That's also
absolutely,
important.
very important.
Being independent, taking care of themselves.
Absolutely, that's what they're doing in Calgary right now.
I know.
All three of them are taking in their independent. She is my daughter is 17. She cooks, she cleans, she makes roti, she makes dal, she makes biryani, everything you name it. She does everything, and she's studying.
See, she does it, and you were surprised when I told you I make roti. What's up with that, man?
I
I
know.
can make roti too.
Oh, fantastic! I know.
Yeah, so just to tell our audience, I told Zura.
Zuhra.
I told her that I have to go make roti, and she goes, what? You make roti too? I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
know.
see you as a star. I see you as a
Celebrity.
light star. So stars don't make roti. They ask them to make it for them.
My daughter tells me whenever she has to ask me to make something, she says, Mama, can you make this? And I say, I don't feel like it. Mama, that is your time when you can relax and listen to music, watch TV while you
Yeah.
cook. So go have your own time in the kitchen. And I'm like, no,
No, that's not
that's
gonna
not my
happen.
idea.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's what she tells me. She's like, yeah, Mama, go and
Oh,
have your time, your me
have
time
your own
in the
time.
kitchen, and then cook something for me. She's like the cleverest
Absolutely.
thing ever. So, my daughter is 9, and I asked you this yesterday when we talked. What would you tell a 10-year-old or a 9-year-old Zahra if you could talk to her now?
If I could go back and talk to her um, as Zora is 10 years, I would say that embrace the life that is coming to you, and it is not going to be easy. It's life is never easy, but be prepared. And to prepare yourself, you can have the knowledge and go to school, learn as much as you can because nobody's going to take it away from you.
And do you have anger or
I
any
do. I
regrets?
do. I am angry on the situations that I wish that I was more mature back then, but I don't regret because that was the time. That was me. That was being myself, right? So I don't regret, but I am angry for making some poor decisions um, because of the time frame. I think I should have made these decisions way before, but then when I look at comparison of both times, then I say, okay, then I wouldn't have my 3 gems if I made these decisions way before, right? Um,
You know, they say that the brain's not even fully developed until you're 25. So that's I wouldn't even be angry with myself at all.
no,
If
absolutely.
that, I mean, you were in your teenage. You were I seriously,
Yes,
it's really incomprehensible to me.
it
You were
is.
a teenager, and I don't see any reason for you to be questioning what you did or what you didn't do when you were stuck in a very unfortunate situation of not your doing. It was not something you purposely brought on yourself. It was
Yes,
something that was happening to you at that time. But yeah, no, I wouldn't hold myself.
absolutely. I agree. I totally agree with you, but I am angry because I wanted to make it better, that I could not make it better. But then again, you probably hear that me going back to culture, culture, culture because I love my culture, right? So I love to stand by it. I don't want to, you know, disappear from my life or anything like that. But when I talk to my daughter today, I tell her that we do have this culture. We do have this culture that you have. However, it has been modified as per time, as per generations that we go. And she asks me many questions, many questions, saying that are we are we not allowed to love? Are we not allowed to care? Are we not allowed to share? And I said, you can do everything that you need to do, but you be careful, is what I tell her. And then she says, why should I be careful when I am right? When I know I am right? When I am sincere, why should I be careful? The people who are around me should be careful of what they do to me or what I say to them, right? So she has a different perspective of life, and I have different perspective of life.
You can't control anyone else. You can
No,
control your own actions. You can control your own life. You can't control anyone else.
no,
That's the that's the unfortunate part of it. So, when you say you're angry with yourself, are you angry with somebody else? Like, do you harbor any anger, maybe with your parents or even culture for that matter? Like, do you ever feel that why was I born into this culture, or why was I born into this family where I had to go through this, or why was I married? Like, do you are you angry at your fate? Because I ask these questions, not you personally, but
Yeah.
these are very generic questions. I think a lot of us who have gone through trauma, who have gone through very difficult situations, culturally speaking, a lot of women, I've heard that quite a bit. I think I've experienced that personally myself. Like, why was I born as a girl into a culture where females are killed in womb, right? So why was I not born as a man into this culture, a man, a boy who's glorified? So I always have those thoughts. So I'm just curious to know, do you ever have those thoughts?
I do ask, but then I do answer myself that, at the end, is it culture or is it humanity? Is it religion or is it humanity? Is it me or is it somebody else? So I ask these questions and I answer myself, but then I am not angry. I am not angry with fate. I am not angry with parents. I am not angry with culture, because everybody modifies the culture within their time and within their desires, within their needs. Some would do it at want, but for me, it wasn't a want, it was a need. I need it. Until now, I need it. It's not what I want, right? So I haven't come up to the desire to make things as I want. And I am sure I will one day. So I'm definitely not angry.
That is so good to hear. And I think you need to stop being angry with yourself for not doing what at something at what when you were 17 years old. Like,
Correct.
yeah, I think you need to let go of that too.
I think it will take time,
Yes.
to get rid of that one thing. It has been decades of, almost a decade and a half of that, devastating, shattering endeavors that I have gone through. So it'll take me time to settle in and say, you know what, you are satisfied from yourself now, and let it go. So I will let it go one day.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story, sharing your journey with us. Thank you for being so vulnerable. And it's not easy. So when we first started talking, I told you that if you ever feel uncomfortable saying anything, please don't. And if you feel that I am crossing any boundaries, please stop me as well. But you were a sport, and you were. Thank you so much for just being yourself and letting us into your heart, literally.
Oh, thank you. I thank you because I think during this journey, you have been there. You know it, and I don't need to say it. So you've been there as a small piece or big piece, doesn't matter. You were there for that time. So I thank you. I thank you for, lots of love, care, and what you do is awesome.
I love you. I literally do. And I think I'm declaring it in public. I love Zora. Yeah, I really love Zora. Pardon?
Someone is going to
A
come and say,
competition
what happened to you now?
on International Women's Day.
Yes,
All right.
correct.
Well, it was lovely speaking to you, and I'll let you go back to um, more
My
pressing
little room.
things in life. But thank you for sharing your journey, because you don't know whose life you're going to touch. You don't know who you're going to inspire. So there may be someone watching this and maybe they're going through a rough time themselves, just to see you that you managed to get out of it. You managed to raise three beautiful children. You managed to build a career for yourself, and you're still going after what you want to do. And you have the support of your children with you. You have built this village around yourself, and you did it all on your own. And you did it, like, even when people give up sometimes, like, I'm too old for this. Give us a share before you go. Some share or shairi.
Give you a share. Um, जिंदगी में रोना चाहिए, जिंदगी में हंसना चाहिए, जब हंसो तब भी जागो, जब रो तब भी जागो.
I lovely.
क्योंकि जागना, सोना तो एक दिन सबने है, राइट? सोना तो एक दिन सबने है, तो हम क्यों अभी सोए जब हमने जागना हो तो, राइट?
And
तो
on that beautiful note,
थैंक यू,
take care, my friend.
थैंक यू सो मच.